Okay, now we can read our article. So our article is for the Brookings Institute, and it is titled, "Brexit is Not Immune to the Coronavirus." As British Prime Minister Boris Johnson informed the nation on Monday evening of new restrictions to stop the spread of coronavirus, Brexit was the last thing on most Britons' minds. For most citizens and businesses, not much has changed in their lives since the UK left the European Union, or the EU, on January 31st. Although the British government no longer participates in EU decision-making institutions, like our Senate, the country remains bound by its rules and enjoys the benefits of membership during a transition period lasting until December 31st. Yet, given the COVID-19 pandemic, it is increasingly likely the government will need to extend this timeline or risk additional economic shocks. The crisis is also highlighting the post-Brexit regulation and coordination challenges ahead. During the 11-month transition, the UK and EU planned to negotiate their future relationship. They need to decide the terms of a free trade agreement. The UK hopes to get a no-taxes deal similar to the EU's recent agreement with Canada. They must also address air travel, airline safety, nuclear energy rules, international military cooperation, and fisheries. Both sides have published draft documents. Page 2. During the first round of face-to-face negotiations on March 2nd through 5th, the two sides were polite but could not agree at all. The second round of talks, scheduled for March 18th, was postponed because of COVID-19. The EU negotiator announced on March 19th that he had coronavirus, and the British negotiator entered self-quarantine the next day because he also had symptoms. Beyond the security challenges of having sensitive discussions via video conference, neither side has the health to proceed as planned. The deadline could be changed. The withdrawal agreement, the divorce agreement outlining the terms of Brexit, expected a possible need for more time. Many already thought the time frame was too ambitious, allowing only 6 months in practical terms for talks. The sides first met in March and needed a deal by late November to have time to make it a fully legal agreement. Since they can't meet in person due to COVID-19, it now seems impossible. The agreement allows either side to request a 1 or 2 year extension to the transition period. Then the Joint Committee, which is made up of UK and EU officials, will officially make the decision. However, this must be done by June 30th. Page 3. Johnson has always opposed an extension. Also, the laws that started Brexit in British law included a rule preventing the government from requesting one. His main concern is financial, since the withdrawal agreement says an extension would require Britain to pay dues in EU's single market. In addition, a longer transition would keep Britain subject to EU laws, immigration rules, and judicial system. So, to explain that paragraph, if Britain has to pay dues, it's because they still get all of the benefits of living and working and moving around in the other countries without special permissions. So they have to pay a tax for that. Going forward, Johnson has already threatened to walk away from talks with no trade deal if British demands were not met. Each path includes economic risks. If there is a deal, companies that may survive the closings due to coronavirus by the fourth quarter will immediately face Brexit disruptions. The government already knows that leaving the EU will reduce the economy by 5% compared to remaining an EU member. British businesses are working to implement practical changes that will take effect at the end of the year, including a new immigration system, regulation, and border checks. The government has already warned of Brexit-related disruption, including to supply chains. I put that in bright red because that's important. If there is no trade deal, the government would knowingly be creating a second economic shock. If the government requests an extension, the prospect of paying additional payments to Brussels, especially if there's a coronavirus-induced recession, will be politically unpopular, but still the least bad option. Page 4. I know, but the print is big. COVID-19 is also highlighting challenges the UK will face in coordinating, regulating, and responding to crises after it has fully left the EU. Although the UK currently benefits from joint EU responses to the crisis, its health minister is not allowed to participate in EU meetings. The British government doesn't seem to mind, as its late start of social distancing and other preventive measures made it different from the rest of Europe. Johnson has also restated that Brexit prevents British participation in EU regulations. He said the UK will leave the European Medicines Agency, think about that for a second, which is responsible for scientific evaluation, supervision, and monitoring of medicines. The UK has already withdrawn from the EU's emergency bulk buying system for vaccines and medicines. Big problem. You should have little tingles going on in your brain. That's a huge problem right now. Officially, the British government remains opposed to extending the transition period. The British public is polarized. A new survey found that 55% of people support an extension, with 25% opposed and 21% unsure. Brexit supporters and leaders don't want a longer time frame. For example, former Brexit Minister David Davis stated, "The unfortunate COVID-19 events will mean that cross-border traffic will be depressed and customs will be more than able to handle the traffic." Johnson will probably wait as long as possible to decide, especially as the escalating effects of COVID-19 dominate the headlines. Okay, you guys, thanks so much for working hard today. I want you to have a great day. Please do not forget to submit your work. And please, 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 if you need help, reach out to get it. I am here for you. Thanks again. Bye-bye.